Welcome to the third and final video in this series on using outcomes in Canvas. This video will focus on the data side of using outcomes. First, let's explore how we can access our alignment section to check the alignments throughout our course. We're going to start by going to the Outcomes menu. And from here, this is the same place we were at in video number 1. We're going to click on the last tab, Alignments. This is going to give us a page that gives us all of the information about our different slows and alignments. So in this course, I currently have 17 outcomes. So I have a total of 17 slows, and it's going to give you some statistics. The more you use, obviously, the better these numbers are going to be. But more importantly, I can come down here and I can search by the drop-down menu. I have 4 different slows out of my 17 that have alignments. I have 13 without, so I can sort that. Or I can come down here and I can say, all right, well, slow 1.1, and here's my I can statement, is aligned to 6 different things. Now, if I want to see how many it is aligned to, so as I go through, I'm just going to click on the arrow to get the drop-down menu, and it will show me that it is aligned to new quiz number 2, it's aligned to outcome assignment number 1, and it's aligned to another assignment through this rubric. So I can see which actual assignments each one of my slows is aligned to. So this is a handy page just if you're looking for information on which of your outcomes you've used and which assignments they have been connected to. Next, we're going to move into how to access some data on the outcomes. So in the next one, we're actually going to go to quizzes, because I did have a couple quizzes that have some outcomes associated with them. And in this case, we want to get data on how kids did on the different outcomes within a multiple choice test. So for this, I'm going to my quiz that I know has the slows connected. I'm going to come down here to Build. Once the quiz is loaded, I want to go to the third tab in for Reports. And then what I want to do is come over here to this Outcomes Analysis. This is going to give me a breakdown because I had, it was an 8-question quiz, and there was 4 questions for one slow and 4 for another. So I'm just going to click on this View Report, and I can see, so I just had my test student take it, but if you had all of your students, they'd all be listed here. And it's going to show me with a really quick that on the slow 1.2, the student had mastery. They got 3 out of 4, so they have the little green star here for this. But on slow 1.1, they only got 2 out of 4. And because we have mastery set at 3 or higher, so this one, they did not get the mastery 4. So this is just a great way you can grab some data either on individual questions or if you have multiple questions included in a new quiz. From here, we're going to return back and we're going to check out the last major component of using outcomes. And this is the actual gradebook. So if we're going to go to Grades and let that load. Now we're in our traditional gradebook. So you can see that I have my test student and I have all the different assignments and how they've scored. Now, because I've been using standards-based grading throughout this with my slows, you can see that all of these are out of 4, and it kind of gives you the random raw number. But it calculates it as a percentage. So if you're looking at this as a teacher or a student, they got a 2, which isn't terrible, a 3, a 3, a 4, a 2.5, and they got a 1 here. So we really only have 1 assignment we need to be worried about. But in this case, it's showing that the student only has about a 65%. This is not accurate for what the student has actually shown they've learned, because this is applying a traditional gradebook, a percentage base, to the standards. So the cool thing we can do is by simply opening the gradebook and coming up to where it says gradebook from the drop-down menu, you'll see that there's a little down arrow. We can click on that, and we can choose Learning Mastery Gradebook. This is going to give us an entirely different gradebook to look at. Instead of giving us all the different assessments or assignments that students have completed, it's going to give me the most recent score on each of these slows. So you can see I have all 17 of my slows here, but we've only done the first unit. So for slow 1.1, this student scored a 2, and the first number is the student score. The second number is the number we had set for mastery. So on the first slow, you can see that it's got kind of the yellow code. It's over here for developing. But on the next slow, they've got a 3, means they are proficient. On slow 1.3, they're actually highly proficient. They got a 4 on that assignment. And then when we come over here to slow 1.4, they're in the beginning stage. They only got a 1 out of 4 on that when they needed to get a 3 for mastery. So this is a great way that you can use the Learning Mastery Gradebook as a great way to just check in and see where students are. Now, one of the things that it will show you all the time is all of your slows for the whole year. But maybe you don't want to see all those. You only want to see the ones that have data included. In order to do that, all you do is you click on the little hide outcomes with no result. So if that has not been assigned or aligned to any of your assignments in Canvas, it will just not show up. So as soon as I do go make an assignment or a quiz or a discussion and I add slow 2.1 to this, then slow point 2.1 would just show up right here. In order to get back to the traditional gradebook, all you have to do is go back up to where it says Learning Mastery Gradebook, select the drop-down menu, and click Traditional or Learning. In this case, you just go to the Traditional Gradebook, and it will take you back to the beginning. Finally, we're going to look at how students can also access the Learning Mastery Gradebook. They simply log into the course in Canvas and access the Grades menu. They will have their gradebook. Again, it's going to show them the traditional percentage based, but they also will have a tab called Learning Mastery. They will open the student's Learning Mastery Gradebook, and it will allow them to see all the different standards or slows that have been created for this course. Now, they can go in and they can see by clicking the dropdown for my first parent folder is American Revolution. They can go in there and they can see, all right, for this one, they have a 2 out of 4 and it is not mastered. And then they can click on this to see which assignments they've completed that are aligned to that slow and how they scored on it. So it looks like both of these they got a 2 on, so it's not mastered. But then if they go down, they can see that they get this one, they got a 3 out of 4, that is mastered, and they want to see, well, what does that do? All right, and then they can see that they got a 3 on those 2 assignments. And they can just repeat this all the way down. They can check not only their current score, whether it's mastered or not mastered, but they can also see how they did on each specific assignment that goes into that. This is a great way for students to visualize and track their performance on individual standards assessed in your course. Thank you for following along over these 3 videos. I hope that you have a better understanding of how to create and use outcomes in your class.